Hey, you guys, check this out. So you're about to retire and you're wondering now, which account do I pull from first? Because you may have a mix of things going on in your life between pre-tax, Roth, and brokerage account. And you're wondering which is the most tax efficient or estate efficient for you to pull from in retirement. So first off, I have my order below that I usually recommend to most people in a generic way or form, which I will elaborate on, of course, here. That being said, everyone is a little bit different here. And there may be some years where we may want to change this up slightly based on your scenario, your situation. So it is always nice to seek tax advice from your professionals, whether that's your advisors or it's going to be your CPA, etc. It's good to get that opinion and not just on YouTube here, but essentially from someone who's in your corner working for you too. But my order is that I like to typically pull from the pre-tax accounts first in retirement. Now, the reason is, and this is usually where the bulk of your money is too, to be honest. But when I'm thinking about taxes, not only for you in your retirement, and then but for your estate, really, so your beneficiaries down the road, I want to leave money to them in the most tax efficient manner for them as well too. Typically, that's going to be a Roth, of course, and then a brokerage account has a really nice stipulation there with a stepped up basis, meaning your beneficiary can inherit that thing and pay no tax on the capital gains of the growth along the way up to the date of your passing. So it's called a stepped up basis on that. So anyways, why I like taking from the IRAs first or your pre-tax money, and this also could be, of course, your pre-tax 401k, TSP, 403bs, and whatnot, is think in general of your whole portfolio here, no matter what kind of account type it is, like say it's all invested the same and it's all picking up 10% a year in growth. Well, the pre-tax accounts like the IRA, that's picking up 10% a year in growth, but also it's picking up a tax bill along the way too, the further that it grows as well for you. So they're great while you're earning money and especially when you're a high earner based on the state you live in and whatnot. It's great to defer some of those taxes from your current salary and manage that tax while you're earning. But now that you flip gears into retirement, I actually like to use that first for the most part, even before your RMDs kick in later in life in your early 70s. Because again, when you look at your whole portfolio in general as a whole, and it's picking up 10% a year in growth, in the pre-tax accounts, it's more like 7 or so, maybe 7.5 is what you're making because the IRS tax bill is growing with you as well. Now in the Roth, for example, it's growing at 10% a year. That thing is tax free upon distribution, so it is your 10% there that is growing, and not a part of the IRS too, essentially. So what I've seen in some of these IRAs or pre-tax accounts, they will balloon, which is great. That means you're getting the market returns that we've had the last few years, or just over time in general, and it's a good problem to have. But if that thing is $1 million, $2 million in pre-tax money, excuse me, and you pass away, for example, it's a lot of taxable income either to your estate. Because remember, that thing has to be drained out now within 10 years. It can happen all at once. It can be spaced over 10 years. But even a $2 million pre-tax IRA spaced out over 10 years is at least 200K a year distribution, not factoring any growth. And that's taxable to beneficiaries. So what I like to do is kind of manage that down, try to get your assets split between all three account types here. And again, most people are going to be pre-tax heavy, and that's okay. So I like to use those first because I don't want the IRS tax bill growing along with me or my estate on those things for my clients. And again, in general with this too, I'm anticipating, minimal staggered distributions from your accounts as well too. If something funny happens and we have to take out a large chunk from your portfolio, maybe we'll split that up to manage the tax bill between your pre-tax IRA and then also dabble into the brokerage or the Roth too. Ideally, we don't, but I'm talking a significant distribution here for whatever reason, whether that's paying off the final, the rest of the mortgage or something health related, or you want to accelerate some of those funds to help your kids pay off student loans or buy their first house. That's okay. We may just want to split that, and to give you a dollar amount, if you have a $1 or $2 million portfolio, maybe looking at $100,000 or $200,000 distribution there. While I typically would lean towards we pull from the IRA first on that, maybe we split some of that and we pull some from the Roth or brokerage then. But in general, in a nutshell, if everything's making 10%, the purest form of that is going to be in your Roth, and the next purest form of that is going to be your brokerage account because of that stepped up basis. Or if you use it in your lifetime, you're only paying long-term capital gains, essentially, which is a much lower tax rate than ordinary income, which is how your IRA or pre-tax money is taxed on the way out. So in that order, which account should you pull from first? Typically, it's going to be the IRA. Then it's going to be the brokerage account. Then it's going to be the Roth. The Roth is the purest to me because it's the best estate planning really for you or the kids. Also, it's best for you. You want to let that 10% a year, whatever it's making, that portfolio return, you want to let that grow tax-free for as long as possible, and because of course then it's going to distribute tax-free. If you can't use it in your lifetime, your beneficiaries are going to have that. Now, because it's an IRA, it has to be drained within 10 years too, but again, you don't have any tax burden from it yourselves or for your beneficiaries either at this point. So that is my preferred method of distribution from these accounts for my clients that I work with.